You want to future-proof your business as much as possible. And, even here, at Atom Factory, I'm always looking at, what's a management company version of Napster? What's just going to come along and just wipe us out, And can we get there quicker than it can get to us? We're in the business of empowering artists and entrepreneurs. Atom Factory is our artist management business where we manage Meghan Trainor, Charlie Puth, Kamasi Washington, built the careers of Lady Gaga and John Legend. And then on the flip side of it, we have Smashed, which is our voice of the company. And then last, we have our venture arm, Cross Culture, where we invest in early stage technology companies. We've invested in Spotify, Uber, Dropbox, Warby Parker, Slack, and a bunch of other great companies. Coming from the music business and having to deal with artists and that transition from artists to fans to, brands to consumers, it's really understanding the psychology of why people want to associate with your brand. What does it mean to them when they wear those Warby Parker glasses? When they put those Jordans on, how does that make them feel? Disruption is one of those words that, we hear a lot now. Everybody's disrupting something. But we're also now seeing a lot of collaboration, a lot of convergence between, Fortune 500 companies and startups. A lot of corporations now with venture arms that are investing in young entrepreneurs or building programs within their companies so, you can disrupt yourself internally versus to those external factors. Hustle is simple. It's just really, it's doing the work. A lot of people like to think about it. A lot of people like to talk about it. A lot of people have ideas. But it's difficult to actually do the work, and that's why we say chop wood, carry water. It's one foot in front of the other. It's showing up when you're supposed to show up. It's, going beyond the call of duty. It's the first to get there, the last to leave. And that's the culture of our business. We definitely vet hustle in our interview process. I just want to get a sense of who the person is, what they've worked on, what they've gone through, and really, asking questions about being in tough situations. Because I think as important as hustle is, grit is equally and grit and resilience is equally as important, because it's a lot of rejection in our business. Radio stations are going to tell you no, vendors are going to tell you no, partners are going to tell you no. So are you going to have that drive and that ability to drive a Mack truck through a cul-de-sac to get it done? It's that West Philly spidey sense that I still have, where you can kind of pick up on, okay, this person had it really, really easy. I'm meeting a lot of these, young kids that are hustling. Like, I had a startup come in here. The founder just turned 18 last week, and this kid, is phenomenal, building his business around influencers. I met a kid in London, Nick, who literally raced, I want to say maybe 40 city blocks to come meet with me at the Apple store. And you fast forward, he built this company, we invested in it. He sold it for $30 million to Yahoo 18 months later at 17 years old when he sold the company or whatever. What fuels my personal hustle is just passion for what I do. I love working with artists. I love working with entrepreneurs. I love building things, and so we work with a lot of developing artists. So most of the artists that we're successful with are artists that we discover and kind of build their careers. And there's a lot of similarities to startups. You're kind of taking something raw from the very beginning and seeing somebody's vision and investing in that vision and helping them execute on it. So I'm super passionate about seeing things grow. I think the biggest misconception just overall, especially in right now in the current climate, is this sort of pressure of of up and to the right, for this sort of hockey stick type of growth for companies. And the true path to entrepreneurship is more like this, it's this journey. It's ups and downs, and it's lefts and it's rights, and it's chutes and ladders, and that's what the true journey looks like. People think entrepreneurship is sexy. It's hard. You got to end up pushing through a lot of difficult times. Being the CEO of a company is a lonely position. Your life is compartmentalized, to a certain extent, just because the rest of your team can't understand the problems and the decision-making process that has to go into making a lot of tough calls sometimes. And the CEO, you get the credit for the wins and you get the credit for the losses. You know what I'm saying? And you got to live by both. I think data in our business is going to be a huge factor, and I really do believe that if you're building a business today, just really being able to have as much data to access on customer behavior is one thing, but also being able to know your customer intimately as human beings. People historically have built billion-dollar businesses, on the backs of treating consumers with a terrible experience. And I think, that's how Uber and Lyft were able to find these incredible opportunities in the transportation space, because anybody who's ever ridden in a taxi, can tell you 8 experiences out of 10 are terrible. So all of a sudden, technology comes along that, disaggregates the entire space, and consumers are all over it. When it comes to investing, I'm a very common sense guy. So, I didn't go to school for finance. Never heard the term venture capital until about 6 years ago. I just kind of look at the idea, the viability of the idea, get a sense of whether or not I feel like the team has the ability to execute. Also look at the other people who are entering the deal, who's the investment syndicate as well. The size of the market, like, are they going after a large opportunity there? Is there a sleepy incumbent in place? So, we're kind of looking at all of those things and then making a decision kind of based off of that data we get there and some, research from there, and then, a lot of gut married on top of it.